lost my election petition appeal at the Supreme Court. In response, I said that as long as Nigeria wins, the struggle would have been worth the while. By that, I meant that the bigger loss would not be mine, but Nigeria's, if the Supreme Court legitimizes illegality, including forgery, identity theft, and perjury as it has done. If the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, implies by a judgment that crime is good and should be rewarded, then Nigeria has lost. And the country is doomed irrespective of who occupies the presidential seat. If the Supreme Court decides that the electoral umpire, INEC, can tell the public one thing and then do something else in order to reach a corruptly predetermined outcome, then there is really no hope for the country's democracy and electoral process. Obviously, the consequences of those decisions for the country will not end at the expiration of the current government. They will last for decades. I am absolutely sure that history will vindicate me. We now know what the Supreme Court has decided. At critical points in my political life, I always ignored the easy but ignorable path and choosing the difficult but dignified path. The path of truth, of morality, of democracy, and the rule of law. I always chose freedom over servitude. Whatever the personal discomforts my choice entails. When I joined politics, the critical challenge was easing the military out of power so that civilian democratic governance could be restored in Nigeria. It later became a very defining struggle. And as one of the leaders of that struggle, I was targeted for elimination. In one incident, 9 policemen guarding my home in Kaduna were murdered in an attempt to assassinate me. I was also forced into exile for 9 months because of that incident. In addition, my interest in a logistics company that I co-owned was confiscated and given to friends of the military government. As vice president of the civilian government that succeeded the military, I, again, at great personal cost, chose to oppose the extension to deepen our democracy and rule of law. I will continue to work for the kind of political and economic restructuring that the country needs to reach its true potential. That struggle should now be led by the younger generation of Nigerians who have even more at stake than my own generation. So, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me make a few proposals that I believe will help. Listen carefully. We can actually make constitutional amendments, and I'm happy members of the National Assembly are here, that will prevent any court or tribunal from hiding behind technicalities and legal sophistry to affirm electoral haste and undermine the will of the people. Our democracy must mean something. It must be substantive. Above all, it must be expressed through free, fair, and transparent elections that respect the will of the people. Firstly, we must make electoral voting and collation. Members of our National Assembly, dear President, we must make electronic voting and collation of results mandatory. We don't want to see any human being handling our results, whether at the polling units, at the ward, at the local government. We should all be able to stay in our homes and look at the television. This is the 21st century, and countries less advanced than Nigeria are doing so already. It is only bold initiatives that transform societies. Secondly, our members of the National Assembly, we must provide that all litigation arising from the disputed elections must be concluded before inauguration of the week. Please, I beg of you. This was the case in 1979. I don't know how we came to this present situation. The current time frame between elections and inauguration of winners is adequate to dispense with all election litigations. What we have currently is akin to asking thieves to keep their loot and use the same to defend themselves while the case of their robbery is being decided. It only encourages mandate and banditry rather than discouraging. Thirdly, in order to ensure popular mandate and real representation, we must move to require a candidate for president to earn 50% plus one of the valid vote cards, any which the runoff between the top two candidates will be held. Most countries that elect their presidents use this two-round tier system with slight variations rather than our current fast past the post system. Examples include France, Finland, Australia, Bulgaria, options from government, and also to promote equity and national unity. We need to move to a single 6-year term for president to be rotated among the 6 geopolitical zones. This will prevent the ganging up of 2 or more geopolitical zones to alternate the presidency among themselves to the exclusion of other zones. INEC should be mandated to verify the credentials submitted to it by candidates and their parties, and where it is unable to do so, perhaps because the institutions involved did not respond in time, it must publicly state so and have it on record. It is concerned. I know there have been so many concerns and worries about the direction, the strength of the party. I want to assure that the party remains the strongest, remains formidable, remains the best political party in this country. In life, we sometimes face challenges and disappointments, but that should not deter us from pursuing the overall objective of our great party, the PDP. I therefore want to appeal to all members here and elsewhere to have faith and confidence in this great party. There has never been a great party like this in this country.
Yeah, the People's Democratic Party candidate Atiku Abubakar made some recommendations during the press conference that the National Assembly should revisit the constitutions in reducing the powers of the judiciary to using technicalities in cancellations of victories of some candidates in elections. He also lauded the effort of the National Assembly regarding the revision of the constitutions, that the INEC should zone the presidential seats to 6 geopolitical zones at 6 years first single tenures. By this, it will give the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria a grounds to also lead in the country affairs. These are among other recommendations that he made. Atiku Michael from PDP Secretariat, Abuja, reporting for Oweleketv.